Meet Will and Tom, two seemingly ordinary men, cursed with a gift of vast knowledge that is forever expanding. Possessing incredible insight with unparalleled skills and expertise. Let us join them as they embark on a journey to quench their thirst for the truth while answering the questions to life's most intriguing mysteries. Let us open our minds and ask, dude, could you imagine? Could you imagine? Could you imagine? Imagine if the world, our way of life as we know it, ending, only to make way for a new world and a new way of life. Now, imagine being tasked with the responsibility for bringing in 50 of your most cherished things from this world on into the next. What would you pick? How would this new world compare to the one of old? Let us dive deep into the imaginations of our two new world organizers, Will and Tom, as they reveal what they would bring to the new way of life. Welcome back, everybody. This is Tom Case.
And this is Will Stark.
Will, did you feel that?
What was that?
I felt a shift. Into something new.
Oh, wow. We shifted into a parallel dimension of some sort.
I think we may have. So, we're back, everybody. We hope you had a good holiday. And
a Happy New Year.
A Happy New Year, definitely.
It's 2022, baby!
Yes, all good things, let's hope, from this year.
Well, I'm hoping today's episode gets us in that good things vibe.
This episode is going to be a little bit different, and I'm really going to enjoy it because the roles are switched this time.
Yes, to a certain degree,
yeah,
I suppose they are. Was there anything you want to say before we just get into it?
I do want to say, to all our listeners out there, we saw all your feedback, and a lot of you wrote in on the last episode of season 1. So we do appreciate that, and we hope that season 2 will be even better, and we hope that we hear from you for season 2 as well.
Indeed. All right, Tom. So I'm presenting the question for this episode, and my question is really just a thinly veiled, disguised ulterior motive, which we'll get into in a little bit. But my question is this: if the world was to be remade by the powers from on high, and said powers came down and they picked out our podcast and said,
Tom, Will, your ever-expanding minds are truly full of wisdom, and we can think of no two better people than to ask this question to.
Which is true.
You have been given the honor of preserving 25 of your favorite things that will make it from this world to the next. You don't get to decide everything, but these 25 things we'll preserve. We'll make sure that they're going to be there.
What would you preserve for the next world?
Wow.
So we're each going to get 25 on this one.
Okay, no pressure.
This is just
right?
a thinly veiled, all right, so the impetus of this question is I really just want to talk about our 25 favorite things in the world. We're not trying to solve a puzzle. I'm not looking for the optimal answers here. I don't want you trying to food and water, obviously, and air to breathe. No, that's all going to be taken care of. Okay. Let's just talk about your favorite things. What are your favorite things?
So most likely we're not going to mess up the new world.
No. Okay. This is the new world's going to be what it's going to be. Mm-hmm. You don't get to decide that. But what you do get to decide is what are your 25 favorite things? We'll bring them on over.
Okay. So, I guess I do have parameters, Will. I'm going to have to ask some parameters. But I think you actually answered the most important one, which was, so, the basic stuff is going to be there, right? We're not going to have to go into the minutia of, we need to breathe and we need to eat and we... Okay.
Yeah. I think the powers from on high are just hoping we don't fuck it up again.
Okay. And I only have two other questions I thought about.
Yeah.
So, am I to understand that if I were to pick something, right? Mm-hmm. I don't know. For example, if I were to pick something about, let's say I want tigers in this new world, right?
Okay.
Well, am I to understand then that if tigers exist, so maybe so do other animals so that they can eat whatever they need to?
Yes, that could be assumed. Tigers here, but they got nothing to eat.
Yeah, exactly. Okay.
No. Again, I'm not trying to trick you, Tom.
Okay.
Just tell me what you want. Just tell me what you want to bring over.
The other question I have, and this may be something that maybe you'll have to answer later after we start naming stuff off here,
Uh-huh.
is so this new world, once
Yes.
we put into it our favorite things we want to have in it,
Mm-hmm.
it's from that point forward the life evolves.
No. So the
Okay.
way this works is like you don't get a pick when you're going to be reborn into this world.
Oh, okay.
Like at what point in time. You don't even know what time is going to be like in this world. You don't know if time is going to be a straight continuum.
It's just
it could
that-
be a weird fucking circle.
Yeah. Okay.
Like-
So it's just going to be that.
Like-
but these favorite things of ours will be
A part of this
Okay,
world's history, if you will. And
That
like
makes sense.
theoretically, if these powers from on high are being kind enough to ask for our opinion, they're going to place us right in the smack dab middle of where our things exist.
Yeah, okay,
That'd be
good,
pretty
okay.
shitty if they didn't.
Yeah. Right.
It's like, yeah, all those things existed 1,000 years ago.
Yeah. Exactly.
That would suck.
Like, but they don't now. Sorry,
Yeah.
guys.
All right, Tom. So
Okay.
we each got 25. I don't know how long this episode is going to be, but we're gonna find out by you starting us off. What's the first thing on your list?
Okay. Well,
And is your list in order? Is it like
no?
in like top
I have
to bottom?
no particular order
Okay, me too.
of these things. They literally came to me like random jumbled thoughts. Like
Okay.
I went
Yeah.
from one end of a spectrum to the other, and everything in between along the way, jumping back and forth.
Yeah. Can I tell you something actually before we get started? I had to put rules on myself because I was way too close to putting 12 food items on this thing. And I was like, I gotta not like, so I limited myself. I cut out half the food items that I had put on this list, but go ahead.
Okay, so I don't think I have like that many food items, but I have to tell you something, Will.
What?
I put no rules on myself, but I don't think I did that.
Right,
I don't think
right.
I did that. However, can I get the first two things out of the way on my list?
Absolutely.
And it's because, I have to have these two things, Will, if we're going into a new world.
Mm-hmm.
Number one, my wife.
Okay, so
Number
let's
two-
pause.
I didn't even get to
We
number
didn't.
two.
I thought we talked about this. Like, you don't have to
Did
worry
we?
about loved ones. You don't like because obviously it's gonna be like my son, my fiance, my sister, my this. No. Like you don't gotta. You don't get to decide who comes and goes.
Okay.
Like theoretically, we're all gonna go over.
Tell you the truth. I actually did remember that you told me
Oh,
that.
okay. I was like,
It's
goddamn it,
just,
Tom.
I have to mention these. I want to mention them on air just in case if she's listening.
Okay,
she
all right.
knows.
Yes.
Okay, babe. You know that you're
You're
number
number
one,
one.
and number two is Chewy, my dog.
Okay, for sure. All right, okay, let's get to your actual
Okay.
list though.
Now, actual list, and the other one is actually another person, but it's not. It's someone that I don't.
not a loved one.
No.
Okay.
I was going to just be very general and broad in this, and I
Okay.
could have just said comedians.
Oh, okay.
But I want to be specific because of these these three comedians I actually picked. So there's going to be three.
You got three comedians.
I'll go one by one if you want to
Okay,
take turns.
these are essentially three different.
Yeah.
Like, these are three numbers.
Three different. Yes, these are three numbers.
Yeah, go ahead and give me
three
your
different
three.
comedians because they're
mean that
three
much to
different-
you.
Yeah, and they're three different styles.
Let's
of
hear it.
comedy.
What do you
One
got?
of them is comedian Jeff Ross. I don't know if you know who he is.
I don't know who that is, but tell me.
They call him the Roastmaster General.
Okay.
He's the guy that he's taken over all of the
Comedy Central roasts. Okay.
roasts, and as an insult comic, I don't know if there's anyone better than he is. He is the master. Like,
Right.
I mean,
What do they call him? You said the roast
the
master?
Roastmaster General, and
that's pretty funny.
my God, like if you go to his Instagram account, right?
Yeah.
I follow him on Instagram, and he'll go live. It may not be every day, but when he goes live, what he literally does is he'll invite you to
Get
join
roasted?
his live. Yes, and he'll literally he's like, okay, who are you? And then boom, he gets to see who you are in the video real quick if he picks you, and then he just roasts you. You know
That's
what I mean?
crazy.
And he gets them every
That's
time.
a talent.
Like,
That's
you
a
know what I
talent
mean?
for sure. Yeah.
And don't get me wrong. Like, I know a lot of people are like, oh, you're laughing at someone else getting insulted. Okay, I get that. And
Sure.
Yeah. Yes, to a certain extent, sometimes insults are not funny, but other times when they're in a jestful way, and they're not being serious.
I
on you,
understand that totally. I don't like insult comedy, but I'm not turning my nose up at it either. So like, I definitely don't judge you for it, but
it's definitely not. I could say that.
I know it's a personal thing with me because like I was actually having this talk with my mother-in-law the other day because I have this similarity with her son, where I don't know if you noticed, like I don't make fun of you. Like I won't like take a dig at you or like
I've never heard.
And it's because it's just my brain doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
And I do not like being poked fun of. it
Yeah,
really pisses me off. Even when I know logically that it shouldn't, it just does.
Yeah.
So that's why I never got into that type of humor.
I actually have the same thing.
Oh, do you?
But it's slightly different. It depends on who's saying it to me.
Right.
Because like my brother has this weird power of being able to push my buttons.
Oh.
When if it was a friend that may have done the same thing, I would have taken it as a jest.
Interesting.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
So like it is weird. I do
Gotcha.
understand what you mean because insult comedy actually is not everyone's cup of tea.
No, it's not.
And
but this person is the best at it.
and that is the reason why he's the best at it is he does know how to walk this fine line
Right.
of like, I'm going to poke a little fun at you, but I'm going to make you feel good about it. And you know, I'm not being serious.
Right.
Like,
That
you know
is,
what I mean?
that's a talent.
Because there's
That's
other
a
people
talent.
who
That's a
can't
skill.
do that and they try to do insult comedy and it just doesn't,
It comes off
off
bad.
very bad. Yeah.
Okay. Who are your next two guys?
The next one is Nikki Glazer.
Man, more names I don't know.
I know. She is, I think, don't get me wrong, there's a lot of female comics I really like out there. They're very funny, but her style of comedy is very like, first of all, she's not afraid. I'm talking about in any subject matter, and she talks about personal subject matter
really?
of herself that, you know,
Most people wouldn't be
think most people
sharing.
wouldn't even, they wouldn't even want to share that probably even with their significant other. Like, you know what I mean? Like, but she is not afraid of that. And the way she can, she draws attentions to flaws, but makes them funny in a way where like, you can be like, oh my God, you know what? I always felt that insecurity about myself, but she made this funny joke about it. Maybe I shouldn't feel that bad. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I always thought that was really like,
that's
that's
talent.
brave, man. Yeah, that's talent. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I can't believe some of the stuff that when she talks about, I'm like, man, she's going for it.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden she makes it super funny. So then you're not thinking about like, oh, that's embarrassing. No, you're thinking like, oh man, that's so funny. I can relate. You
that's
know what
pretty
I mean?
cool.
Like, something like that happened.
I like that. That's dope. All right.
This next one though, I'm pretty sure you know this next one.
I don't know. Let's find out.
Dave Chappelle.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Okay.
Dave Chappelle's amazing.
Do I even have to explain, really?
Not to me, but like the audience is listening, so maybe you should.
Dave Chappelle, recently has come under fire because of like these jokes he had made of the transgender community, right?
I don't know. I heard about it.
Yeah,
But
it was on his
I haven't
special.
watched his special. I don't know much about it.
I actually watched it because I heard all of these things. And to be completely honest, I actually see both sides. I do see some of these people who were boycotting his special or walked out of Netflix for having this special on their platform.
Okay.
And stuff. I understand. You know what I
Okay.
mean? Because, just like with the insult comedy, like, it's not for everybody. However, on the flip side of it, I did see the whole story Dave Chappelle was trying to make about the jokes that he was making. He was telling this whole story about meeting someone who was transgendered and then that person being able to show Dave Chappelle, hey, we are out here. We are a community and we want to be a part of the jokes too. You know what I mean? So
Interesting.
So in my opinion, I don't think Dave Chappelle was trying to purposely be, rude or whatever to the transgender community. But he did show that he had a fault and took it upon himself to be like, hey, you know what? I met someone from that group that I made a joke about and they made me have a different point of view now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's what I got from it.
Okay.
But yeah, Dave Chappelle is just funny all around. But he's not just
He's
funny,
definitely a comedic
like,
pioneer for sure.
Yeah,
like his
exactly.
show was a phenomenon.
Exactly.
Chappelle's show,
And-
holy crap.
Yeah. And he was another one that's not afraid. He took subject matter, usually it's race, and
right.
he took that and like made things that people maybe didn't think about or were aware, and he made them funny, but he made you think about it. You know what I mean? So
that's actually something he very much did. Like a lot of that stuff was stuff people would not talk about, and he made it so everyone was talking about it because it was so funny. But part of that, like the best comedy has like seeds of truth in it. Mm-hmm. I mean, I think he probably ended up, whether it was intentional or not, started a lot more social commentary among the masses than most people ever will. So.
Yeah. And there's a lot more I could have. Yeah, there's a lot more I could have done, but I chose those
three comedians.
So that way, let's say in this new world, if comedy was a new thing now, that these three comedians were going to set what comedy, the bar of comedy was going to start from.
Right.
That's
okay.
the way I was thinking about it in
Nice.
my mind.
Yeah, absolutely. Spoiler alert, I don't have any comedians on mine. But it's cool. You got it covered.
Yeah, it's cool.
Between the two
Our
of us-
world will have humor.
Yeah, between the two of us, we got this covered. All right. So I'll do my first one. Should I do 3 since technically you did 3?
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
I'll do 3. I did these in no particular order. It was literally just in the order that they came to me over the course of this last 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Number 1, baseball.
Oh, yeah. I should have known you. Yeah.
I fucking love baseball, dude. It's a beautiful sport. It's got drama. It's got science. There's a lot of science involved in physics and math. Like if you want to get into the number crunchy side of things, if you want to get into the statistics and analytics, but it's also it's got a lot of heart, a lot of history. It's a very romantic sport. I know there's that line
Now
from
that I could agree with.
yeah, there's a line from Moneyball where it's like, how can you not be romantic about baseball? It's just the damn truth, dude. Like whether it's you fall in love with the sport itself or you fall in love with your team or the different guys on your team and their stories and you just see the long marathon of a battle that is a season of baseball.
Yeah.
And you see the ups and downs, the slumps, the hot streaks of this and that, and you just get so emotionally invested. And there's so many layers to the sport where it's like you can be really casual and never go deeper than that, and you still love the sport just as much as someone like me who is just slowly but surely peeling away at those layers and learning more and more every year. I love
think
baseball. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, I think you brought me to that casual level,
Right.
Because before when we started working, I wasn't in baseball.
Yeah,
I really didn't know
you didn't
anything
know
about
anything,
baseball. But now, just casually, I will keep an eye out on who's playing. Okay, the score
Right,
is this,
yeah.
and because I know a little bit more about it because I just thought it was interesting right now how you brought up the movie of Moneyball when you were talking about how it's a romantic sport. I wanted to bring up the movie Moneyball when you were talking about crunching the numbers,
Right,
Because
which
I
is what
didn't
that movie's
realize,
about.
yeah,
Yeah.
in that movie. So if anyone out there isn't really into baseball and you don't know about that, I would highly suggest to watch the movie Moneyball. It is a great movie, even if you don't like baseball.
You don't
It's
have to. You literally can know zero about
Yeah.
baseball, and it's a great movie.
and it's a great movie.
Yeah.
And Brad Pitt, Jonah Hill,
They kill it.
They do, and it's a good movie to show you what he was talking about, crunching the numbers.
Yeah. Honestly, in the numbers that they're getting into, that's the bare minimum because that was the beginning of the analytics era of baseball. But I'm not going to get into that now because we're going to talk about number 2 thing on my list, which this is one of the most important things to me in my personal life at all. It's
Boring things?
No, one of the most important.
Oh, important. I thought you said boring.
Yeah,
things.
boring.
I
I'm
was
just
like,
gonna
why
throw it
would
on
you
this
put-
list.
yeah, I
No.
was like,
My thing is number 2, the ocean.
oh, okay.
The beach, the ocean
Damn,
is
I
my
just-
favorite place in the world. No matter what beach it is,
Yeah.
whether I'm here on the coast of California or somewhere else, it is a magical place to me. It is a place where I'm not a very spiritual person. You know me, Tom. I'm not a
Yeah.
very spiritual person. But when I'm standing on the shore, waist deep in the water on any type of weather, but I'm thinking a sunny California day, and I just can't help but feel like this is the place in the world where the 4 elements meet. The fire of the sun, the wind,
yeah,
the
that's
water, the earth of the shore, and I just feel truly at peace. And I love the sand sports that you can play on the beach.
Oh, yeah.
I love bodyboarding. I've never surfed, but I've always wanted to. I love being out there on the ski-doos, on the boat, whatever. Ocean animal life. I love
okay. I'm glad you brought
everything
that up.
about the
Okay.
ocean. I fucking love the ocean.
Okay, so ocean means ocean life.
Sure,
The
yeah,
animal. Okay,
sure.
good. No,
Yeah,
good, because that was
Stop
that
trying
was
to solve the puzzle, Tom.
Yeah, I
We're
know.
talking about our favorite things.
The puzzle pieces must fit, Will.
But the ocean, it just means so much to me. So much from my childhood, and I love it. It's my favorite place on earth.
I'm glad now that you said that because I don't have I forgot about things like that. in there.
You're like, I have zero nature.
Yeah, or sports, I think.
Oh wow, okay. All right, so we're gonna get to the first thing on my list that you might have on your list. You might.
Okay.
There's one I know is gonna be on your list, but this one might be on your list.
Is this a broad generalized thing or is
That's
this a specific
pretty
thing?
specific.
Oh, okay.
Lord of the Rings.
Oh, I don't have that.
Oh, my
but I
goodness.
do have something. Okay.
Lord of the Rings
I'm glad you used that.
it's a fantasy masterpiece. I mean,
yeah.
I know a lot of people like to downplay Tolkien and downplay Lord of the Rings because it's so old and because everything out of it is now a cliche. Everyone thinks it's old and tiresome now. But I'm like, literally everything out of this book is a cliche. You know how hard it must have, you know how groundbreaking it must be for everything about it to basically set the bar.
Yeah, and
like,
now that's
every bit of
whatever.
fantasy, like obviously there's plenty of fantasy that's moved away from Tolkien, and it's great. Like in a way, Tolkien has made fantasy better in that it has pushed authors and creators and writers to try and like distance themselves from it. You know what I mean? Because it's just so monolithic in the fantasy world. So even in that way, Tolkien has its effect on fantasy. But it's a classic hero's journey. It's heavily influenced by mythology, which I love. And it's just got a very timeless story, which means a lot to me. I grew up with it. I've enjoyed Lord of the Rings in many forms. I love the movies. I love the books. I love the animated movies that came out in the 70s and a little bit in the 80s. There was one movie that was directed by, oh God, I can't remember his name. But it was. Have you ever heard of rotoscoping?
Yes, I've heard of the.
Have you ever seen A Scanner Darkly?
Oh yeah.
You know how it's actors, but it's animated
It's
over
like,
the frames.
yeah.
They did a movie for Fellowship of the Ring that was rotoscoped.
Oh, I never seen
Pretty
that.
damn good too.
Oh.
I'll have to dig it up. And I'll point it out for you. You'd like it. But I love everything but Lord of the Rings. It's
Yeah. I do agree with that. Lord of the Rings is awesome. I'm glad you did pick that for our world, for our new world.
Our
here.
new world.
It's funny though because like how you said, like a lot of people like to downplay it, or you know the movies. Like my wife always says she's not that fan of the story, but
Right.
like she always says like, it's just like 3 hours of walking. Like it's just like they're walking to get here, they're walking to get there.
You can literally say that about a billion different stories.
Of them. But it is funny, and it is one of those. You know me about reading, right? You know I love watching movies instead of reading the book.
Yeah.
But this was one of the books that we were made to read in when I was in school.
Oh, okay.
And I'm actually really glad they did, because I actually did enjoy this book when I read it. So I'm glad you picked that one.
Yeah. All right, you're up, man.
Okay, the next one. This one's kind of broad a little bit, but I wanted to put this first before I get specific ones later.
Okay.
Dine out restaurants.
Okay, fair enough.
Because like
I like eating out too, Tom.
yeah, that's like one of the it is. It's one of my favorite things to do.
I know, you're
especially
always
when
telling
we
me
go
about that.
somewhere. I am literally the person. Actually, both me and my wife, we will go somewhere for vacation, and the one thing that we love to do, we get in our hotel room. Well, first I flop on the bed, right? I always have to jump. I always have to jump and dive onto the bed.
Nice.
After we do that, we get our phones out and we start Yelping restaurants. We start
Nice.
looking at what's around and what we want to eat and what has the better reviews.
Right.
And it's just like we used to actually do a thing. We used to do a little critic videos we did on our own Instagram.
Oh, you were vlogging about it.
We
huh?
did. We did a little vlog. We don't do it anymore, but it used to be called Ash and Tom's Noms.
Uh-huh.
And,
I like that. That's a good name. Yeah.
And we had a couple things we did like at Disneyland and stuff. But anyways, you know, that's just something that, you know, I don't know. It's so like very close to my heart of what I love to do.
You're passionate about eating out,
yes,
Tom.
it's
You're
very
passionate about eating out. Like, this is how I know. You either know of the place I'm telling you. I bring up a conversation. You already know about it. Or if you haven't heard of it, you're like, really? Tell me more.
yeah.
Where is it? I'm gonna go find it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go eat there next week. Like, yeah, Tom loves his dine outs.
Yeah, I will always try to ask. Yeah, whenever you do bring up a place that I don't know, I'm always like, well, okay, well, how much was this? Well, did they have this on the menu? What about that?
Exactly, yeah. And you're great for whenever I need an idea of a place to go, and like I can just pick your brain.
Yeah, it's just I think it's something that a lot of people
dining out is one of the most
enjoy.
popular things for not just Americans, for people to do around the world. Like, there's a reason for that, Tom. It's a good. It's a good pick.
Yeah.
It's a good pick. What do you got? What else?
Oh, okay. So we'll do a few at a time.
Yeah, we'll do a few at a time.
Because these next two actually go directly into why I wanted that. Because I want to make sure, and you already answered this. In our new world, we're not going to have shortage of seafood because you already said ocean.
Yeah.
So we'll have
at least
ocean
not
life.
at first. We won't.
No, not at first. So I know seafood is very specific, and you already said about ocean life. You know what I mean? But I specifically did want to say seafood because those
Oh, so
are
you're being general, like general seafood.
general seafood.
What are some specific items where like when you say seafood, what are you thinking about?
Fish, crab, lobster,
For sure.
octopus, even oysters.
Wow, you have not named my number one. So far, you've named a bunch. You haven't named my number one.
Would sushi be one of your number one?
No.
Oh, okay, sushi. I would love.
It's
sushi,
great.
but
I love
yeah.
sushi, but
what would
my number
be
one's
your
shrimp.
number
You
one?
haven't said
Oh,
shrimp.
shrimp. Oh,
Yeah.
shrimp, definitely,
Yeah.
dude. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Shrimp is almost like shrimp to me is almost like one of those seafoods where it I shouldn't even have to mention it. It
I
should
know
always
it really
be
yes,
there,
yes,
right? You know what I
shrimp's
mean?
Fucking amazing.
Yeah, exactly.
I love seafood. I love it, and
so good.
I had to stop myself from putting it on this list. So I'm so glad you put it on this list.
Oh,
I
thought
already
this
had
would
too
be
many
something
food
you
items.
did.
And I'm like, I can't. I just can't.
Oh yeah.
One of the food items has seafood in it though. So we'll
okay. my next one, which also goes out with the dine out restaurants, is because these are the ones we try to go do the most.
Yeah.
Is either seafood restaurants or my next one is steak.
Oh, okay.
So,
nice.
Not only actually, this doesn't just have to do with the dine out restaurant. I also cook my own steaks.
Tom is very passionate about steaks.
Yes, and
we can talk about steaks for hours. Yeah. I'm serious,
and we are going to right now. No, just playing. No. No. But like, it is something that the one thing, because I'm not a good cook, but there are like very few items I do take pride that I can cook very well. Because like, even my wife has said like, well, hey, you want to go eat at like I don't know, Lone Star Steakhouse or something, wherever that's nearby, and she'll be like, oh, why don't you just get the steak and make it yourself? It's better than the restaurant.
Wow,
you know what I mean?
That's a very nice compliment.
Yeah, so I'm like, oh, okay, cool.
Hell yeah, it's fantastic, dude.
But yeah, it is, and I know we try not to eat a lot of it because a lot of red meat, it's not that healthy for you. But the few times we may have it, in the few months or whatever, like when we do eat steak, it's something that I like making, but it's also something I like to dine out for.
Sure. Absolutely.
A lot of times I judge a plate when we go to the steakhouse. Obviously, that's what you judge it for, is their steak.
Yeah, that's kind of what they're supposed to be for.
But yeah, so those would be my next three, and that's why I wanted to say dine out restaurants first, is so that way the specifics of what kind of dine out restaurants I would like.
Makes sense. All right, so my next up, my number 4, it's a band. Led Zeppelin.
Right on.
So a lot of people know, like, I think the Beatles are the greatest band ever, right? I just, like, objectively, well, not objectively, subjectively, because it's my opinion, but in my head, like, they are just objectively the best band ever. And people who know that I love heavy metal, a lot of people know Megadeth is my favorite metal band of all time.
Oh, yeah.
But even though I have those two opinions, what a lot of people probably don't realize about me, unless they know about my tattoo or have seen it and know what it means, is that Led Zeppelin's my favorite band of all time.
Oh, okay.
I fucking love Led Zeppelin. And Led Zeppelin has the same issue as Lord of the Rings when it comes to, like, they are so prolific and so popular and so, like everyone's inspired by them for the last 40 years that, like, people like to downplay their music as being, like, old and tiresome, like it doesn't tread new, like it doesn't break new ground. Well, it fucking did then when it came out,
and it's still kind of like, I mean, why else do you think it lasted for that long?
Yeah,
like,
I could listen to every single one of their albums from top to bottom. There's very few bands. The Beatles is one of them, but there's very few bands I could do that with. Their range between going like heavy to bluesy to just pure acoustic, serene. The Rain song's an amazing song. There's so many songs of theirs amazing. There's a reason that they're the only band I have tattooed on my body. I fucking love Led Zeppelin. Jimmy Page is, I would say, a national treasure, except for he's British.
Yeah.
They're phenomenal. Every aspect of that band is phenomenal. And if you somehow are not actually familiar with Led Zeppelin, just go get yourself Zeppelin's 4th album and just go listen to it. It's fucking phenomenal.
Yeah, that's one of the rare bands that you can say that, where you can just be like, wow, you don't know about them? Just go listen to this. And that's all you have to say.
Yeah.
And, almost guarantee that at the very least, they're not going to say anything bad about them. It's that,
for the most
kind of
part,
music where it's like, you're going to enjoy it. Just go ahead and listen to it. You know what I mean?
It's fucking Zeppelin, man.
Yeah.
Next one kind of ties into that, and like this one's redundant, and maybe I should have swapped them. You could call this one redundant because if Zeppelin exists, of course this thing exists. But I want to talk about this thing. My number 5 is the electric guitar.
Oh, okay.
You know me, I'm a guitar player. Specifically, like I can play any guitar, and I play plenty of acoustic stuff. But the electric guitar is, in my opinion, the greatest instrument ever invented. Its range is
that is
unparalleled. It's the most iconic instrument ever made. Like when you think of a band, the first instrument you think of is an electric guitar. Yeah, and you probably picture a Stratocaster in your head because that's like the quintessential
iconic,
guitar, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Its invention changed the face of music. It changed the world. Up until maybe the last like 15, 20 years, like if you were making music, guitar was very likely involved. now we've moved away from that. We've evolved more than that. We've gotten more in electronic stuff. Pop has really taken over the world in the last 25 years, and a number of other things. But for me, the electric guitar it's sleek, it's elegant, it's graceful, it's heavy, it's badass, it's cool. Like it's everything.
It'll always be iconic.
It'll always be iconic, and there is nothing. Well, not nothing, but there are few things in this world that like bring me a certain level of like serenity and happiness as putting an electric guitar in my hands, turning on the amp, getting that tone just right, and fucking shredding, dude. It's
Hell yeah.
Fucking amazing.
Hell yeah.
My last of this round 3, we're finally getting into some food.
Okay.
Mexican cuisine, man.
Oh, okay.
Like,
so just like when I said with seafood, you're talking about like
I'm just talking about Mexican cuisine. I'm talking from every region. And
can you
I think specifically, I'm a SoCal boy, so SoCal Mexican food is so fucking good.
Oh yeah.
And if you find the right hole in the wall places, like you'll be going to heaven.
Yeah.
But I also grew up. My mom's side of the family's Mexican, so I've grown lots of Mexican food over there. My fiance's Mexican, and we got lots of Mexican food everywhere. And growing up, a lot of my friends were Mexican, so I was getting Mexican food all over there. It just has permeated my life since I was a little boy. Like I love Mexican food. It's my favorite cuisine in the world. This world is a better place with it, and I feel bad for all the people in the world who live so far away from like where good Mexican food is made that they don't get to have that experience.
No, don't you? I feel bad when I hear someone from like
England,
and they say like, "Oh man, I love this whatever kind of burrito," and you're like, "What?" And and then
exactly.
and then you try to explain to them what like a burrito here or whatever is like, and they have no clue what you're. I feel bad for them.
Yeah.
Like,
and to be clear, like it's not that I don't like. I'm not trying to snub certain Americanized Mexican, because like SoCal Mexican is fairly Americanized in our way. But like we're talking about generations of Mexican people that have been making this. So like it is still Mexican food. But like even though some like what we go to, there's a fast food place called McGill Jr.'s, right?
Oh yeah,
like that's pretty Americanized.
That's very
still fucking amazing. It's still Mexican
it's still
food, and I still enjoy it. So I'm not being a snob about it, but there is a level where it gets too far away from the real thing where I'm like, no, I'm good.
Yeah, exactly. Is there do you have a favorite Mexican dish?
Dish
or
dish?
Food or
oh my god, Tommy, you're gonna kill me here.
Or not like is there something that you're just like
okay, I got one thing off the top of my head. There is a place in East LA. So I've told you about this before. It's called it's in East LA.
This is what I was hoping you'd go to.
Yeah, okay. I've been going there since I was a boy. My dad's been going there since he was a little boy. I think this place opened in the 60s. And it's called El Tipiax. And the owner, who he's passed away now, Manuel, he had a signature burrito called the Manuel Special. This thing is just massive, like 2 foot by 1 foot fucking wet burrito, right?
Yeah.
And it's this chile verde, but verde means green in Spanish. But this chile verde that he makes, I think he sautés it for like 24 fucking hours in tomatoes. So it ends up going from green to red. And it's just got a very, very particular flavor. And it's like big, thick, tender pieces of pork. Just the best guac you've ever had in your life. Rice, beans. It's spicy and it's good.
I always love when you tell this story.
Yeah, it's got a lot of cheese on it, which I know so I have friends and family members who are like really like, they're a little bit more on the elitist side of like what makes Mexican food Mexican. And like too much cheese is like a really American thing. And they're right, it is. But like Manuel's from Mexico, man. He made this burrito and it's fucking amazing. And like his restaurant is iconic in East LA, which is like the Mexican community of Los Angeles. You can't tell me this burrito is not Mexican.
Yeah.
It is so good. It's called the Manuel Special. It's El Tipiax, East LA. Go try it out.
God, I gotta try that.
Sir, out there. Can anybody hear me? Please hear me. Can you hear me? Can anybody hear me? If you can hear me, this is Fritz Frivolous. I need your help. I'm stuck. Somehow stuck inside the minds of Will and Tom. I need to escape. Please support them and their podcast. You can go to patreon.com/dudecouldyouimagine or leave a 5-star review on Apple Podcast. Distract them long enough for me to break free. You can even leave a like, comment, or subscribe. Again, don't forget about me, Fritz Frivolous.
So my next thing is actually going to be off of food now. It's funny how like yours kind of matched with mine a little bit.
It did. We got so much more food in the future. I'm just letting you know.
Yeah, I know, right? Hey, well, that's good for me. I'm not going to complain. But my next thing is God of War.
Oh,
So
nice.
the video game
series,
obviously,
yeah. You're gonna laugh at what my next one is. My next one's a video game.
Oh, is it, dude? That's why did we have
so
like
funny.
the same thoughts?
Yeah, go for it.
So yes, my next thing would be the God of War video game. And just like how you kind of answered my questions for the parameters, obviously that means if this game exists, that means so do
video games.
So a video game industry is
Sure,
is around.
yeah, absolutely.
But I specifically wanted to do God of War because obviously that is my favorite game. It's has everything. It's right up my alley. Everything that I love.
Now, I know you love the 2018.
Yeah, I loved all of them.
I was gonna say, what did you think of the first three?
I love them.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously now comparing what they have now, playing those, but when those first came out, oh my God, I couldn't believe they made these games. And I was like, it was just so badass. And I was like, every time something happened in the storyline, I'm like, oh, what? There's Athena. Like, oh, what? Like this happened,
Yeah.
In God of War 3, I remember specifically when you finally get to meet Hercules, right? Mm-hmm. And, in my head, I know Hercules, he's a hero, all the stories about him. But like, I also too had my own thoughts about Hercules when I would hear him because like, he was supposed to be this, he was a demigod. He was known for his brute strength and all this kind of stuff. And right. So like a part of me pictured him kind of like a jock, you know what I mean? Where he, not necessarily a bully, but like, he would probably throw his weight around, when he could. Yeah. Like that was going on in my own head, right? Mm-hmm. And in God of War 3, there was a really awesome scene where you get to fight him. And the way he starts talking to you, and because Hera is up on her throne in this little like Colosseum that you're fighting him in. Mm-hmm. And I remember him saying things where like when you're fighting, he's like, "Is this what you like to see, mother? I will show you who the best son you have," or like who's your best son, stuff like that. And and I was like, okay, I know Hercules is supposed to be a hero, but it just felt so human that he was acting that way, that it was in a way where I was like, you know what? I can see him doing that.
Sure, yeah,
and
absolutely.
The other cool thing is when I was first playing that part of the game, I was like, my God, does he sound exactly like Kevin Sorbo, who plays Hercules in the TV show Hercules, right?
Right.
And it ends up being him.
Oh, the casting.
Yeah, and I remember it sounding so much like him that when I finally beat the game, you sit there for 20 minutes to watch all the credits, right?
Oh, yeah.
And his name popped up as
and
Hercules.
You were like, what?
Yeah, and I was like, I was right. It was him.
That's awesome.
But yes, the 2018 God of War, my God, I was already going to be satisfied if they even just tried to do another clone of the other God of War games, but they didn't do that. They stepped it up. They changed it, and it was even better.
Yeah,
like I couldn't believe it. And it's just, if there's going to be any video games, at least I would want this in the new world.
Okay, that sounds good.
The next one is not a video game, but it's the entire Infinity War saga.
Oh, so from the MCU?
Yes,
it's hilarious. Okay, I got you.
If you're not playing video games in the new world,
20 specific movies or however many it is. 18? Is it 18 specific movies?
I think it's 18, yeah.
That's crazy.
So if you're not playing God of War, you're going to be watching the Infinity War saga.
I don't blame you there, because that is a cinematic, not masterpiece. That's not what I'm looking to say. It's
although it is, I feel like.
I mean, one could argue that. I'm just saying it's never been done before.
Yeah,
and it was done so successfully and so well. Mm-hmm. And I love superheroes and I love Marvel. I have since I was a kid. So I love it.
I feel like what you said about food, I could have done with movies, because I originally had 25 movies I could have put on this list of 25 things.
No, totally.
But the reason I wanted to choose the entire Infinity War saga was because of the fact that it is so many movies put together that tells one coherent, overarching story.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That everything connects to. Mm-hmm. And don't get me wrong, there's a lot of other movies like, Goodfellas, Goonies, Back to the Future. I mean, a lot of the movies that I love and I grew up with, but
what the MCU pulled off with the Infinity War saga was what readers of epic fantasy what we experience when we read like Wheel of Time, right? Wheel of Time.
Okay.
We're talking about like a 40-book series. So by the time you're getting into book 11, 12, 13, it's all coming together. All these characters from all this different stuff, and it's all happening. You're just like, this is amazing.
Yeah.
It's exactly what the MCU did for movie watchers.
Yeah.
So like
that is exactly what
that's how when people like me are telling people like you how good books are, this is what we've been experiencing for years. But yeah.
And now as movie watchers finally got to experience that.
You really did. You really did.
My next choice here, now again, no particular order.
Yeah.
So this is another thing. Actually, you know what? These three things are related because I would want to, if I had a really good day off, this is exactly it. I would play God of War, right? Then, I would probably have something to eat, whatever. Then I would start watching the Infinity War saga,
sure,
right?
Absolutely.
All while drinking stout beer with high ABV content.
All right, guys, let me tell you something. Tom loves his stouts.
Yes.
This man loves stouts.
Stouts specifically with high ABV content.
Yeah.
I don't want to just name one exact. Like I could say there's one called Dragon's Milk, and it's 11%, right?
Oh yeah, for sure.
But there's another
like a wine.
Yeah, exactly. There's these other I wish I could remember the name of it. There's a place near our undisclosed location, and it's called Tom's Farms. And when you go into their little store there, they have these specialty beers. I can't remember the maker of them, but they literally was what was it? I think it was I think the one I bought was like $29 for one 24-ounce bottle, right? And it was a stout beer.
That's more than $1 an ounce.
I know, and it was a stout beer that was 17%.
Okay.
17.5%.
At what point does it just become liquor?
Yeah, exactly. I know, right? It almost, it has that little taste in there. But, oh my God, was it like heaven in my mouth? Like I never tasted one like that. And don't get me wrong, I was very happy about it, but I was also very pissed off the fact that when I finally found this beer that I absolutely love, and I have to spend $29 for one bottle of this.
Oh, yeah. It's a curse.
I know, dude. But I am going to go there. I'm going to buy. They had this other one even more expensive. I think it was like $35.
Oh, my
And I think it was even in a higher ABV content.
Oh, my gosh.
Which is alcohol by volume.
Ridiculous.
But watch, I'll drink it and I'll be happy.
Well,
camper,
at least I'll be able to get drunk in this new world, Tom.
Yes. That's no doubt. You'll be able to entertain yourself playing a video game, watching a movie, and then having a beer.
Nice. All right, so my next one, my number 7, is also a video game series. It's my favorite video game series of all time, undisputedly. I'm sure you know what it is. It is Final Fantasy.
Oh, yes.
I'm a huge Final Fantasy fan. I've been playing the game since I was a kid.
You're talking about the whole series.
I'm talking about the whole series,
okay.
Yeah. Final Fantasy just as a series.
Okay.
Both the mainline games and any and all spinoffs. Not that I like every single game ever made, but a lot of the spinoffs I do like.
But they have so many.
They have so many. They have so many.
What is it? 6?
Well, there's
15?
There's 15 of the mainline games, some of which have sequels. Like 4 has a sequel, 7 has a couple sequel and prequels.
Oh, they have their own?
10 has a sequel. 12 has 2 sequels, or not 12. 13 has 2 sequels. 12 has a sequel. Like, yeah, it's all.
So,
over
like
the
the sequels of those,
they're
like
not mainline. Those are still. Those would be
okay.
considered not spin-off, but like offshoots.
So they wouldn't be called like the one after that wouldn't be 14. It would
No,
be,
so like you have 13, and then you have 13-2, and then you have 13 Lightning Returns.
Oh, okay.
So like yeah, but I love the series. It's a blend of fantasy and sci-fi, epic storytelling. With a lot of like real world mythology kind of gets mixed in. The battle systems are very strategic. Starts off pretty basic turn-based, but they've done a lot of creative things. Like I think it's impressive that every single iteration of the game has not a totally, but a mostly different new battle system and or like leveling system. They don't just churn out like it's not like a Mario game, right? Where it's like every Mario game, you're Mario, you're doing the same thing. And that's nothing against Mario. Mario is great. I love Mario.
Yeah.
But like Final Fantasy, like you would think that the games would be more similar, but they're all not similar at all. And yet I love them all, and they all feel like Final Fantasy.
Is all the characters the same all the
nope,
time?
Nothing. Almost nothing's the
wow.
same. They're completely own unique universes. And specifically 7 and 8. Had a huge effect on me. Like, the further you go back in time on your memory, obviously the hazier things get, and like more like what they call core memories are the ones that you hold on to. And I have a very, very strong core memory with Final Fantasy VII, where I went over to my cousin's house and I saw the game package. I was like, oh, this looks cool. What's this? And they're, oh, yeah, that's Final Fantasy. It's really good. You should put it in and play. And I played what is essentially, it's called the bombing mission. It's the opening mission of Final Fantasy VII. And I must have been 7 years old when I fired that game up. And it
magical age
fucking
for video
changed everything to me. The music, the sound effects, the look of the game, the atmosphere of this weird diesel punk fantasy sci-fi thing going on. Like the big fucking sword that this cool dude with spiky hair is swinging. Like everything. I was in love. And every Final Fantasy has had pretty much that same effect to a certain degree on me ever since. And I don't like them all necessarily, but I don't hate any of them. And it's my favorite video game series of all time.
That description you gave about when you picked up the box to the game and you look on the back and you can see the graphics or whatever, that reminds me, that is such a nostalgic thing for me too. It's such a powerful memory because I'll still to this day go into a GameStop knowing I am not going to buy anything. But I go and I'll just pick up those boxes just to look, and just to do that brings back that whole memory.
Oh yeah, yeah, definitely. Yeah. So the next item on my list is truly what one would call a guilty pleasure. Like this is something I truly love, but like it's not something you would think that I would feel this strongly about. It's certainly not something I go advertising, but I will die defending this item. And it's also, again, before I'm like hyping this up right now, before I name what it is, it's also completely what's the word I'm looking for? Hypocritical when compared to my number 6 item, which is Mexican food, because this is not Mexican food, despite what it's called. Jack in the Box tacos. For those of you who don't know, there is a fast food restaurant in the western part of the United States called Jack in the Box. They specialize in greasy burgers and like, I don't know, what would you call Jack in the Box? Like if you're trying to explain what Jack in the Box was to somebody. Like,
Jack in the Box is like your
it's like you're drunk.
Yeah, you're drunk after hours burger place. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Burger
definitely.
Shakes and curly fries.
Yeah, and like the same like McDonald's-esque breakfast stuff.
Yeah,
and all that other stuff, right? Yeah. But they have one particular item on their list called 2 tacos, right?
Yeah.
For 99 cents. Now it's a little bit more, but for fucking decades it's been 99 cents.
Is it not 99 cents?
No, now it's like $1.19 or whatever. It varies a little bit by location, and it's about that. But for decades it was 99 cents. And these things that they call tacos are so far removed from what a taco is that like they're like if you described a taco to a fucking alien and the alien tried to recreate it with alien ingredients.
And it would be this.
It would be this. So this thing is like a shell of some sort. It's certainly not a fucking tortilla. Let me tell you that. Like, I don't know what it is, but it's not
green.
It's something. And inside of this thing is ground meat, ?
Yeah.
You know, I've heard a million rumors. I've heard people say it's soy. I've heard people say it's beef. I've heard people, literally, I talked to someone who was dying on the hill that it was kangaroo meat.
Wow.
There's no way it's kangaroo meat. I don't know what it is, but it's meat-like. And then
yes, that is a very good way to put it.
They put way too much lettuce in this thing sometimes, and a very particular hot sauce.
Yeah,
it's not like Mexican hot sauce. Like it's not like a Cholula.
It seems like
it's very particular, and it's hard for me to describe.
I don't think I've ever tasted anything else like that, and it's a little thicker.
Yeah, and then to top it off, they have the fucking audacity to put 2 slices of American like Kraft cheese.
Yeah, I forgot about
in this motherfucker. But let me tell you something right now. They're fucking delicious, dude. They're so good. They're greasy, and I feel bad after I eat them. I feel like I'm a worse person. Like somehow I've tainted my soul. But dude, I have so many memories of being a kid and like barely having like $2 in my pocket, but I could get a couple tacos for Jack in the Box.
Yeah.
I remember being a kid coming home from the beach and like we were poor, right? So we didn't eat out a lot, but like every time we went to the beach, on our way home, my dad would pull over. He'd get me and my sister like 6 tacos. Wow. We'd grub up on the way home. I'd be knocked out by the time I got home. Like belly full of these pseudo tacos.
Yeah.
For me, Jack in the Box tacos are such a quintessential part of being a Southern Californian.
That's true. That's true.
I think the fact that they can make these suckers for 99 cents for two of them, and they're like decently sized. They're not small. These things are a fast food engineering fucking phenomenon. Like, they're a masterpiece.
You know what, Will?
They're a disgusting masterpiece, and I love them.
You convinced me. I just had an idea.
Yeah.
DCYI on location, right? We need to go to the Jack in the Box factory and ask them, give us a tour and show us how you
Tell
make
us what's
these
in the
tacos.
fucking tacos.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Because we know it's not meat.
Like, that would be so awesome to document this process.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, how can they say no after you gave them this glowing review?
Don't get me wrong. They're fucking disgusting, but I love them.
But they're good.
Yeah. All right. Now that I'm done ranting about Jack in the Box tacos, we'll get to my next item, or my next thing, Dungeons and Dragons.
Oh, yeah. This is something
a lot of you already know. I run a Dungeons and Dragons podcast, two, in fact. More on the way. D&D has changed my life very drastically. I am passionate about storytelling. I'm passionate about fantasy and fiction. And I'm passionate about gaming in general. And D&D is all of those things in one. Dungeon mastering has been one of the most fulfilling things that I do in my life. It's the most fulfilling hobby I've ever had. Creating my own worlds, connecting with friends and people from around the world that I've played with. It is the greatest game ever made. And calling it a game does not do it justice. D&D is more than a game. It is a storytelling, co-op, improv, acting, also a game, creative venture. It's amazing. Dungeons and Dragons, it's amazing.
Yeah, for those, exactly. For probably a lot of our listeners, they already know about, the Dungeons and Dragons stuff that you do already host. And I don't know a lot about Dungeons and Dragons. I've always wanted to play, and there's always been those there's always these weird moments where I'll finally get to kind of play a little bit and then it falls apart.
Right.
And either the other people don't return, so then you don't have enough people to really play with, or just scheduling problems. But the one thing I do know about improv and doing and role playing, which I love. And that's the thing that drew me to Dungeons and Dragons in the first place. So hopefully soon you and I will be able to do something.
Yes, we will. We will. And for anyone curious, me and Tom are not in the middle of working on something, but we have plans to work on something which will get turned into a podcast.
Yeah, and I'm definitely excited for that.
Mm-hmm. But back to you.
Okay. So my next thing, I guess this all kind of went into a string from the last three, because last three was what? God of War, entire Infinity War saga, and Stout Beer. Guess number 12 would be. Of course you want to be comfortable, right? Of course you got to be comfortable.
Okay.
So
What'd you put?
When I first started going out with my wife, right? Mm-hmm. I thought I had a comfortable bed, right? I thought it was comfortable until the day I went over to her house, or her mom's house when she was living there.
Yeah.
And the first time I sat on her bed, I fully realized what a comfortable bed really was.
Okay.
Because she had this it was a memory foam. I think they call them a memory foam mattress top. Okay. It wasn't the whole mattress, wasn't memory foam, but it was just this top mat layer, right?
Okay. Yeah.
And I always was every time I'd sit on her bed or I lay in bed, I was just oh my God. And I would snore because it was just so comfortable. So then, come to the time when she moved in, we went shopping one day at Costco and we happened to see that they were selling those. And I don't think I could ever go back. It's either, if I get any other mattress, it's either got to be the whole mattress is one of those memory foam, whatever. One of those things. I don't know all the brands, but or we got to get a memory foam mattress top. And I kind of like the memory foam mattress top versus the whole mattress. I've tested those out. They're really comfortable, but after a while, it does seem like the whole thing sinks in with just the actual foam top on top of a regular mattress. You don't get that sinking feeling. It just feels very soft and very kind of conform to your body so that you're you get your butt groove in there. You know what I mean?
Sure,
like,
absolutely.
Like just like on your favorite couch or something. You know what I mean? Like,
sure, sounds good.
Man, I've always loved the fact that we have that now because like now I can't sleep. I don't think. I mean, I know I can because we slept.
No, but you've become accustomed to it.
But I have become accustomed to it. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Fair.
So yes,
Fair.
definitely.
Good pick.
My other one is something you see me drink a lot, and
it's soda.
Well,
No.
that will
Monster
be
Energy drink.
Yeah,
God
exactly.
damn it, Tom.
Yep.
I can't even escape these in the new world.
Yeah.
No, I drink Monsters more than I should.
Yeah, I know. Same here.
Yeah. No, you love your Monsters. You
I
love
do.
your Monsters. I like the lemonade one.
Oh yes,
Yeah,
yes.
the
I think that's the
rehabs.
one that my there's one that's like a lemon tea flavor or whatever.
Yeah, that's the one.
I think my wife likes that one. Yeah.
That's the one I like.
The one I like is either the original one or the other flavor, which I always look for. It's 0 sugar, and that's the crutch I use to feel better about myself when I drink them.
Sure.
I'm like, it has no sugar. Look, I'm not drinking any sugar.
Sure.
But it's the black can that has like the faded blue M and like the purple like can pop top.
I think I know the one you're talking about. Yeah.
Because there's always a confusion. There's a black can with blue M, and that's a low carb. I'm not talking about that one.
Okay, yeah, that's the
there's
one you see
another
the
one
most.
that's a black can with a
It's
faded
0 sugar.
Yeah, it's a 0 sugar. It's a
interesting.
faded blue purplish.
Wow.
Like
Yeah. So here's a question: like what is it about the Monsters, both of them, that you like? Is it just the flavor?
You know what? It really is the flavor. And I
Wow.
was just about to bring up the fact that my wife, she doesn't like me drinking them for obvious reasons.
Yeah.
But she even brought up the fact that she wished they made a non-energy form, like one that wouldn't like pump your heart.
like a soda, but it tasted
but
the
it
same.
just was the flavor.
Oh
you know
my
what I
God.
mean?
What's so hilarious to me about that, and I think most people would agree, well, maybe they wouldn't. I don't know. Monsters are very popular, at least in our part of the world. But like the original Monster, right? Like that is there's no like equivalent flavor in the world. It is the most engineered artificial thing you've ever did in the world.
I cannot
It's like,
describe that
I'm
flavor.
drinking artificial. This flavor is called artificial, and I'm drinking it.
Yeah, the flavor. Yeah, that's funny because there isn't anything. I can't say
There's nothing even remotely close.
Yeah,
to
I
it.
can't say like, oh, this kind of tastes like a raspberry flavor or a grape flavor, or whatever. No,
absolutely.
it's just Monster
It
flavor.
is divorced from our reality, which we call food. Like it is its own thing.
And I don't know what it is, but I get this weird flush when I drink it, like this like refreshing feeling from that flavor. And I know a lot of people think that flavor is very strong and they don't like it.
I
but I love it.
I do not like
that
flavor.
I love that flavor. I don't know what it is.
Interesting.
And but yeah, I would drink it if it had no energy benefits to it at all.
At least I'll get caffeinated in this new world.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Caffeine will definitely be a part of this world.
Indeed.
And what better to munch on while drinking these Monster Energy
My
drinks?
God. Cheetos?
Cheetos.
I knew it. This man loves his Cheetos.
And I'm
fucking, God damn it, Tom. Just fucking drinking a Monster, eating Cheetos, watching movies.
Oh my God.
I swear to God.
Isn't this is shaping up to be the best world ever?
Here's a question. Has anything on your list been outside?
wait, let me. Nope, I don't think so. Oh wait, yes, dine out restaurants.
No, because you're getting out inside another place.
you're right, yeah.
That's too funny. But Cheetos, yeah. Tell me why you like Cheetos. Tell me all about Cheetos, Tom.
Cheetos to me are one of the perfect snack foods ever, man. They are
They're
crunchy.
salty?
They are salty. They are cheesy. They are
cheesy.
I like the size of them. Like
Sure.
one Cheeto. I mean,
All right,
don't get me wrong.
Let's be honest. They look like weird poops. They look like weird orange poops.
They look like weird Chihuahua poops. They
Yes,
do.
they do.
They're like
They
weird
look like
orange
weird Chihuahua
poops. But it. Don't get me wrong. I know there's a lot of the little Cheeto nuggets, whatever you want to call them. But
don't call them that.
Yeah, I know. But when you get the normal Cheeto poop, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, sure, whatever.
Like that size, just eating one at a time is like to me, it's a perfect snacking.
Yeah, no, I
size
agree.
of,
I agree. I'm not big. Cheetos are fine. Like the Cheetos are very neutral on your classic Cheeto.
Mm-hmm.
But one Cheeto related product that I am fucking absolutely passionate about are Chester's hot fries. Holy shit, those are like
good too.
Like crack to me. I can't stop. Like I can't be near them because I will devour every single one.
Now, okay, on that, the way I actually wrote that in my list was Cheetos of all kinds. Would that include the Chester hot fries?
I would imagine, right?
know,
It's got
right?
the Cheeto
Because
guy
it's the
on
same
it. Right?
guy.
It's Chester
him.
Cheetah.
So I guess those exist in this new world too now.
Sweet. I'm into it. All right. So I got 3 more here. This is gonna be my 10, 11, and 12. It's another food, Tom. It's my favorite dessert in the world, or second, really, but
Wait,
ice cream.
Yeah, okay.
I fucking love ice cream. Ice cream is one of man's greatest creations. And it is also a sign of our true decadence. Like,
Yes,
this
that is true.
dessert could not exist in a world without our technology to keep this cool and to process milk in this way.
Oh, that's very true.
But it can be anything. Like, it can be like plain vanilla. I fucking love it. Plain chocolate. I love it. It can be like a fancy Ben & Jerry's or a Haagen-Dazs or a high-end ice cream. Or it can be like an ice cream sundae. Have you ever had fried ice cream at a Mexican restaurant, Tom?
No, I don't
Next time
think
you
I've
go
ever have.
to a Mexican restaurant, and if they have fried ice cream, number one, have you had fried ice cream?
I don't think I've had fried ice cream.
God, Tom, you haven't lived. Like, next time you go to a Mexican restaurant and they have fried ice cream on the menu, get it. It'll change your life.
Real? Okay,
Yes.
I'm definitely.
I
gonna
love
have to
ice
do
cream
that.
sandwiches. I like soft
ice
serve
cream
ice cream.
sandwiches are so
We
good.
went to Dairy Queen and I got myself a salt toffee blizzard. It's fucking, it was fucking revolutionary to me, man. Ice cream's good.
Yes, there's no way you can make an argument for that it's not good.
What's your favorite flavor, Tom?
Oh man, you know what? My favorite flavor of ice cream. That's very hard to answer, Will.
Mine's pecan praline.
I
You're like, how does one answer a question so difficult?
Yes, it is very difficult to answer. You know what? I guess it's something I'm just going to have to blurt out because it is the last time I ate it. I remember just having so much enjoyment eating it. And that was Ben & Jerry's Cherry Garcia.
Ooh, that's a good one.
It was, I like the ice creams that have, because it has real bits of cherry in it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it also has these hard, crunchy pieces of chocolate.
I know, big chunky
That
ones.
when you get what I call the perfect bite is the right ratio of cherry to chocolate bits to the actual ice cream.
Yeah.
That's probably my favorite one
No,
now.
that's a good one.
It's ever changing though.
My favorite Ben & Jerry's, and I just had this the day before yesterday, I had a pint of Americone Dream.
Oh, is that the one with
It's vanilla ice cream with chunks of chocolate and waffle cone.
Oh
and
yeah.
the fucking best caramel. Like, you get caramel in a lot of ice creams. There's something specific about Ben & Jerry's caramel. It is fucking decadent.
Yeah, it is. It's not like
It's so
I
good.
feel like the caramel that you get in other ice creams, like when you just get like Thrifty's caramel and vanilla or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a cheap
Yeah,
caramel.
yeah,
Like
no,
I don't know
there's-
how I
it's-
know
it's
that.
more high
Yeah,
end.
I don't know how I
tastes
know it is, but
amazing.
it's just the flavor.
Yeah. Okay. The next thing on my list, this is another one you might have on your list. Las Vegas.
Oh,
Is that on your list?
Oh my God, no!
Oh my
And
God, Tom.
I cannot believe it. Okay, I'm glad you have that. Okay.
Yeah, I saved us here. Las Vegas is my favorite go-to, not casual, but it's like my comfort vacation place.
Yes, it
Like-
is. That's
Like, I don't want to go somewhere new. I just want to go to Vegas.
Yep.
Like casinos, gambling, drinks,
I can
amazing
hear it
pools,
already.
the shows, just walking down the street,
Yep.
visiting the shops, the restaurants. Like, fucking love Vegas.
There is
dude.
almost nothing you can't do in Vegas. Like,
Yeah,
you could-
it's amazing. I
It
love
is.
Vegas, and I can't wait to go again. One of my favorite places on earth.
It is that Vegas is me and my wife's go-to. It literally like we don't have to worry when we go to Vegas.
Yeah,
we
don't.
don't have to plan anything
Nope.
unless you need a
mean,
reservation. But
yeah.
but other than that, like we know, okay, we're gonna go there, and we already know we can do anything that we want to do. You want to
and
get
it's like
drinks?
you could just walk in any direction, you'll find
yeah,
a million,
yeah, exactly. Get drinks,
Dude.
walk 10 minutes that
I
way.
just
Get food
right
walk
now
10 minutes out.
There are a few things in this world I want more than to be able to go to New York, get myself a Fat Tuesday. You ever get one of those?
Yes.
Give me a Fat Tuesday. I'm gonna hit the blackjack table. I'll see you tomorrow.
Yes. There's I love the fact too that, and And you don't even have to go to get that if you didn't want to.
No.
Like, I mean, maybe Fat Tuesdays.
Yeah.
But like, you can go, like, I'll go to the craps tables and then all of a sudden somebody's going to come by and be like, would you like a drink?
Right.
And guess what? You only got to tip them.
Right.
You know
Guess what? I do.
Yeah. Exactly. Like, who wants a drink? Me.
All right. So number 12 on my list, so we're about halfway through the list now, is something that I value highly as a Californian because I don't get enough of this. But when it happens, man, am I happy. It's the rain.
Yes.
Oh
my God.
Love rainy weather. The longer it's rainy, the better. When we get those rare storms where it's like cloudy and rainy for like 3 weeks to a month, I'm like, this is literally heaven for me. I love the cold. I just love the falling water. I can sit on my porch, have hot cocoa,
That's
listen to some music.
Common.
Yeah, I just zone out. I love the rain.
So you and I, okay, later in my list, you were more specific, but later on my list, we do have something very similar in common. But yes, you're right, man. That sound of rain. I have
dropping water. Yeah,
I have a back patio at my house, and it's metal roof. So when that rain comes,
oh wow,
you can hear it, and it is the sound.
Definitely.
I love this sound. I'll even just open my bedroom faces the backyard, and we could open a sliding door that's in there, and I'll just open it, because the rain can't get in through there. But like just to hear it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I know it's cold. That's okay. I got blankets. You know what I mean? Like I just want to hear it.
Yes, absolutely, man.
It is
100%.
good. Definitely. Well, I think that we got halfway through our list.
This is actually taking a lot longer than I thought it would. So I think we're gonna have to do a part 2, guys.
Yeah, I think we'll definitely do a part 2 of this. So don't worry, everybody. There's gonna be a lot more on the list. We're only halfway through. We hope you enjoyed this first episode.
Let us know if you enjoyed this. This was we went a different direction than we might have last season. We're trying new things, and we got more new things on the way as well.
New year, new us, new season 2.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm trying to start the new year positively. We're talking about things that we love.
Yes. But dude, to be continued. The podcast you have just heard are the imaginings from the highly evolved minds of the extra-dimensional beings, Will and Tom. It has been translated into a format more easily understood by the human mind. Interpret it as you will. Should you find yourself seeking more answers to life's most intriguing mysteries, you can show your support by becoming a Patreon member at patreon.com/dude-could-you-imagine. You can also leave an Apple Podcast review. You can subscribe to us on Instagram at dude_could-you-imagine, on Twitter at DCYimagine, and on our YouTube channel, where you can leave a like and a comment. We can also be reached through our email, dudecouldyoimagine@gmail.com. We leave you now so that you may gather your thoughts until we meet again to ponder the meaning of the cosmos and ask, dude, could you imagine? Could you imagine? Could you imagine? DCYI on location, right? We need to go to the Jack in the Box factory and ask them, give us a tour and show us how you make these tacos. Yeah, you know what I mean?
It's not me.